Welcome to Does It Matter by Brainy Ballers, where we dissect the game with cutting-edge analytics to give you the upper hand. We analyze everything from hand sizes to average depth of targets to uncover hidden trends that no one else sees. Say goodbye to guesswork and hello to data-driven domination. Because here at Brainy Ballers, we don't just watch the game, we understand it. So get ready, it's podcast time.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're doing a bit of a shortcut, getting you smart on a really specific, kind of niche topic from the Does It Matter series. We're diving into body mass index, BMI, and whether it can actually predict success for NFL quarterbacks. Our mission. Let's try and pull out that optimal BMI number and maybe some minimums you might look for in QB prospects.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is how the source material tackled this. It's very data-driven. They looked at the top 50 fantasy football guys, finishers each season going back to 2003. And crucially, they used only the official NFL draft combine measurements.
Keeps it apples to apples.
Exactly. And they also, they tossed out the rookie seasons just to avoid, weird early results messing things up.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, and they defined bottom 5 finishers as ranks 26 through 30, just for clarity.
Gotcha. So with all that set up, what do the first look at the averages tell us?
Well, it definitely showed a pattern pretty quickly. The average BMI for the top 5 guys.
Do you want to start dominating your drafts? At brainyballers.com, we've researched every metric under the sun for you to find which ones are best linked to fantasy points. You can access hundreds of metrics to sharpen your scouting ability so you know which metrics matter and which are just noise. Stop guessing on which thresholds to look for within each metric. Big numbers can be misleading or irrelevant. Our Ultimate Athlete Blueprints reveal essential scouting metrics, their importance, and benchmarks within each metric that help predict a player's probability of being a success or bust. Elevate your scouting ability with Brainy Ballers' Ultimate Athlete Blueprints today. Click the link in the description. Now back to the show.
It was higher than the average for the 21st to 30th place guys, and not just by a little or sometimes. It was higher in 17 out of 21 years.
Wow, okay. 17 of 21, that's, 81% of the time?
Yep, pretty significant. So right away you're thinking, okay, is there like an ideal range here?
Exactly my thought. So did they try and pinpoint that, narrow it down?
They did. They really dug in. Initially, they flagged a range between 27.9 and 30.3. And what they found was, okay, among the 105 quarterbacks who finished in that bottom group, about half, 51.4%, were in that BMI range.
Okay, about half.
But here's the interesting part. Among the 105 top 5 finishers, 57.1% were in that same range.
So a noticeable bump. 5.7% more likely to be top 5 if you're in that zone.
Precisely. It suggests, maybe that range is more conducive to higher performance.
So did they stop there, or did they fine-tune it even more?
They kept tweaking it. They played with the thresholds a bit. And they found that setting the bar at 28.3 and above, well, that gave the biggest difference. It resulted in a 19.0% higher occurrence of being in the top 5 compared to being in the bottom 5.
19%. Okay, that feels pretty substantial. So 28.3 seems like the magic number they landed on.
That emerged as the sort of most optimal threshold based on their analysis, yeah. It definitely points towards a potential physical profile for, success.
Oh, okay, so for anyone listening, maybe scouting their next fantasy QB, you might be thinking, BMI 28.3, that's the secret? But hold on, it's never that simple, is it? The study also did regression testing. What was that about?
Right, and this is really crucial for context, critical thinking time. Despite seeing that trend, the higher BMI showing up more often in the top 5, standard statistical tests, specifically the regression analysis, found a Pearson value of just 0.031.
0.031. Okay, unpack that for us. What does that mean in plain English?
Basically, Pearson looks for a linear relationship, like does performance go straight up as BMI goes up? A value near 0, like 0.031, means there's essentially no strong linear correlation, no straight line connection between BMI and fantasy points. Just for comparison, something people do think matters, like running back draft capital, that had a Pearson of negative 0.234. Still not super strong, but way, way further from 0 than the BMI score.
Okay, I see. So that really throws a wrench in things, doesn't it?
It does. It tells you the picture is more complicated.
So what do we do with that? We've got this observed trend, this 28.3 threshold, seeming important.
Yeah.
But the stats say no strong link. Is this trend, new, or maybe fading?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you square those two things? It might mean BMI isn't a direct driver, but maybe more of a minimum requirement, or it interacts with other factors. But about the trend, They actually looked at that. They split the data before and after 2013, so roughly the last decade versus the one before. And get this. In the more recent decade, since 2014, that 28.3 plus BMI range showed up 40% more often in the top 5 compared to the bottom 5.
Whoa, 40%. That's a huge jump.
Massive increase. So whatever's going on, it seems to be a much stronger pattern recently. It looks like an emerging trend, not a dying one.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this. What's the takeaway? If you're scouting, we've got this BMI threshold, 28.3 and up, and it seems linked to a better chance of top performance, especially in the last 10 years or so.
Yes, that observation holds. However, remember that regression test, no strong linear correlation. So you absolutely have to take these BMI findings with a pretty big grain of salt. It really hammers home that BMI should definitely not be used as a standalone deciding factor when you're looking at quarterbacks. It's maybe one tiny piece of a huge puzzle. Maybe an increasingly relevant piece lately, but not the whole puzzle. This whole deep dive, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like, what other things, physical traits, maybe stuff that seems obvious, what other things do we think are key for athletes, but when you really crunch the numbers, statistically, they just don't hold up on their own? Something for you to think about until our next deep dive.